Now we're moving on to teams trending downwards. Kind of touched upon it a little bit earlier with our ACC talk. But NC State, past couple of weeks, they've lost to Auburn on the road, and they lost to Kansas yesterday at home. Currently 7-4, 37th in the net, 29th in Torvik, and 28th in Kempom. 1-4 in quad 1 and 2 games. What are your guys' thoughts so far on NC State, and what is your score from 1 through 10 on the panic scale?
I'll let Evan lead here.
Um, I would say probably maybe like a 6, maybe. I think they're kind of looking to panic a little bit, but yeah, they faced Kansas and they're what was it? Oh my gosh, I'm just like so lost. Hold on.
Melvin Council legacy
Yeah,
game.
Melvin
Yeah.
cancel legacy game.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was rough for them. So I don't know how they're going to come back with that, but they're
Right.
like you said on the rundown, 1-4 in quad
Mhm.
1-2 games, which isn't great if you're
Right.
looking at a resume to look for in March. So hopefully they can pick it up. But yeah, I'm kind of getting a little bit iffy on them right now. But you can't do much when you have someone who is 27% from the 3-point line shooting 9 threes and making them. So
Right.
yeah.
That does suck. I mean, that was like their big opportunity for like a big non-con win.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Ant. That was one where you're never gonna say anything's a must win this early
Yeah.
in the year, but for them to that was their last non-conference
Right.
opportunity, really. And so losing that one in overtime sucks for them. It's at home. That's when you want to have. Just a great opportunity for a big win. I would say on the panic scale, I'm on like a 6.5 in between. I think you're having 6 and at 7. Um, and but if they have time to get right, they're favored in their next they're the first they're favored in the next 7 games at least on Torvik. And so if they can use that as just get right spots going into conference play, they have a stretch from January 31st through their Duke game on March 2nd, where they have 9 games and 8 of them are quad ones. And then the other one is a quad two. So that's going to be their make it or break it month, really, is the month of February. And so I think if you're NC State, you're focused on, not taking any bad losses before then. All their losses are quality losses. They just haven't gotten the quality wins. There will be the opportunities for that, but they need to get things figured out before then, so they have time to take advantage of that slate.
Right. I agree with you guys. I went 7 on the panic scale. I think we pretty much mentioned it. Leaving conference play with non-conference play with really no really big statement wins is kind of concerning. And I think, like we say, it just attests to Maui kind of maybe derail their season a bit, but now with all they can do is really bounce back, and I think they're really talented. They have a great coach. So hopefully they do bounce back. They got to bounce back in conference play. That's their real opportunity. Um, Moving on to the Big 12, a Big 12 team, Cincinnati. The last couple of weeks they lost to Xavier, their in-state rival, on the road, and then they just lost to Georgia on a neutral site. Currently 6-4, 128th in the net, 77th in Torvik, 83rd in KenPom. No quad 1 or 2 wins. They have a quad 4 loss to Eastern Michigan at home. Um, Thoughts on Cincinnati, and what is your score 1 through 10 on the panic scale?
I'm gonna keep it alive. I'm gonna keep it a buck. This team is cooked. They're pretty cooked, chopped cheddar.
Doesn't
Um, yeah, I'm gonna say 10, like you said on here, Anthony. They're not that good offensively, and I don't have any faith in this team, to be honest.
Yeah. I think where they went wrong is they employ Kirk Risa.
It's
they
Yeah.
are fascinating because they are sixth in college basketball and adjusted defensive
Yeah.
efficiency.
Um,
Six.
that's
And we're looking at where they have like less than a 1% chance of making the tournament.
yeah.
I mean, sub 200 and offensive efficiency, which yeah, so you find the middle there, and you're not a top 100 team.
Yeah.
Um, I think they're cooked. They would need to steal some major
Right.
wins to get back into the bubble picture.
Yeah.
Just having a quad four weighing you down. You don't do anything in non. You just make life so much harder. If you're in the Big 12, you want to have a good non-conference, so you have room for error in the Big 12 because it's brutal, and
Mhm.
they just are not allowing themselves any of
Right.
that. And so, yeah, I think they're cooked. I would be absolutely stunned if they find a way to get into the bubble conversation. And I guess their defense is great, so you can.
Right.
The thing with having a great defense, it's hard for teams to blow you out.
Mhm.
You would think they got blown out by Georgia, but overall, and it's hard to blow teams out. So you lend yourself to a lot of close games, and
Mhm.
that leads to a lot of volatile scores, like losing to Eastern Michigan. But then they probably will pick off. They're gonna really hurt a Big 12 team later down the line, who's gonna lose like a depending on where they are at, and that could be like a quad three at home if they drop it. Like so they're one that other Big 12 teams won't look forward to playing
Mhm.
because it's such a high risk, low reward game given where they're sit overall. But I think they're cooked.
No, I agree with you guys. It's crazy how like they're like you said like they're the top 10 in like a lot of defensive metrics, but then like they're like so bad offensively. I went 10 on the panic scale. Um,
Mhm.
the only really opportunity left in the non-con state slate is against Clemson on the 21st. That's pretty much it. And like you said, the Big 12 is a gauntlet, so I think things could maybe spiral for Cincinnati in the next couple of months, unfortunately. But maybe it's a good thing. I've seen on Twitter Cincinnati fans, not the biggest fan, their head coach. So, I saw, dude, there was like his press conference. It was like a scrum, because they were playing like in the Hawk Stadium.
Mhm.
So it was like a scrum. So you're like in the hallway. It was just so funny. Wes Miller was just looking like they were like, is he like hostage? Like he was just so defeated. He was just like, it's like, yeah, it's not looking
Mhm.
good for Cincinnati, but not looking good. Moving on to another team. I don't know, trending down, but they are on a three-game losing streak. Tennessee, they do have, and compared to these other teams, they have a really impressive win, at least in the non-con slate. They beat Houston in the Players era, but on a three-game skid right now. Most recently, they lost to Syracuse on the road, and then they lost to Illinois on a neutral site. Currently 7-3, 36 in the net, 18th in Torvik and Ken Palm. They're 1-3 in quad 1 and 2 games. The only win coming over Houston. What are your thoughts on Tennessee and like I said, 1 through 10 on the panic scale?
For Tennessee, I'd put a 6, 7 maybe. But I think I'm leaning maybe closer to a 6. Yeah, they're facing some challenges. Like you said, they're on a 3-game losing streak. After beating Houston, which was a very
Mm-hmm.
impressive win, but now they're on a 3-game losing streak, so it looks like they just put all their effort into that game. Let's see how they respond in the SEC. And if I had to give them an outlook right now, the SEC is a pretty deep conference, like we mentioned. Right now, I can see them honestly like a middle of the pack squad, maybe like top middle of the pack squad.
Right.
Um, as of now, but yeah, hopefully Nate Ahmet and company and Gillespie can pick it up for Volunteers and Rick Barnes.
I'm not super worried. I put them at like a 4 on my panic scale. Yeah, they lost 3 in a row, but you know, Syracuse was by 2 points, Kansas was by 5, and like Illinois, they lost by a decent amount, but Illinois is legit. I think the reason I'm low on their panic meter is because they have a lot of opportunities, and the Houston win does enough, and not they haven't taken any
Right.
bad loss. And the Houston win does enough in the non-conference. Like that's the win you needed. They do have another shot with Louisville coming up, but the SEC it's very deep, but it's not top heavy. I don't like
Mm-hmm.
there's Bama. I would put Tennessee up there and Arkansas.
Florida,
Florida hasn't looked great though.
yeah, they haven't
Auburn
really.
is
Yeah.
so there's an opportunity for Tennessee
Mm-hmm.
where especially when you show the potential, they can beat a Houston. Like
Right.
Tennessee has a chance to, if they correct it, whatever is going wrong, to
Mm-hmm.
really compete for the SEC title. And so that's why I think I'm low on their panic scale because Rick Barnes is experienced enough. He's had Tennessee in SEC championship conversations, and I think he's won the SEC. He's definitely won the SEC regular season title before. I think Well, I think probably that Kennedy Chandler team with Dalton Connect, but um, yeah. So I'm not too worried. They have opportunities ahead, and they haven't done anything dramatically bad to hurt like their resume. So I think 4.
Right. I agree with you guys. I think I went 6, but maybe like I could be like a 5 or 6. But yeah, got a big win against Louisville, but that win over Houston's doing a lot of heavy lifting. But I don't know. It's weird because that was a super impressive win, and then to follow that up with a 3-game skid. It's interesting, but um, I think they gotta improve offensively. I think that was the one of the things that we said. They just are not great offensively, but they are great defensively. So like they're prone to some of these losses, like we saw against Syracuse. But got a big one against Louisville. That's a big one to get a big non-con win before conference play begins. But like you guys mentioned it, SEC, it's pretty open in that top half, and they should finish there. With the history of their program, the consistency that Rick Barnes has gotten there. But not too panicked, but they got to turn it around. Moving on to another team, a Big East team, Creighton. Um, Most recently, they lost to Nebraska, and then yesterday they lost to Kansas State at home. Currently 5-5, 110th in the net, 67th in Torvik, and 72nd in KenPom. 0-5 in quad 1 and 2 games. What are your thoughts on Creighton? And what's your score from 1 through 10 on the panic scale?
I think this team's pretty chopped too. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah, I don't think Creighton's gonna do a whole lot in the Big Ten. I mean, they lost. They got absolutely dismantled by
Yeah,
Gonzaga when they played them,
yeah,
and then you have UConn and St. John's in your conference who can damn near probably do the same thing to them when they play them. So, yeah, I'm so like cooked on this squad. It's 10 and above with this squad. So I have no faith in Creighton this year.
Yeah, I agree with Evan. I'm 10 as well. I think they're cooked. I think the Big East, because of how the conference is this year, they get so Creighton gets both St. John's and UConn twice, and those are your chances for big wins. They can beat St. John's at home. Maybe UConn is significantly better than this team. It would take a UConn poor performance to lose to Creighton, regardless of where the game is. And then to outside of like that, you don't have a chance. You have a chance for like some good wins, but you can go at Villanova or
mhm,
at Seton Hall, but like that's not like a resume defining win. And those are also teams that are better than Creighton, and so I think the odds of winning enough of those games are low. I think there's just not enough opportunity to build their resume. 5-5, sub 100 in the net, like you said, recovering from that, it's going to be challenging. I think they are cooked. I think they missed on the portal class, and that's going to
yeah.
happen. I think Freeman hasn't been what they expected. He hasn't been bad, but I think they built around him like he was going to be like their best player, one of
Mm.
the best players in the conference. He has not been that. And he could turn into that,
Okay.
but it might be too late.
Right. Yeah. They're very tough to like follow a season up where you lose like a guy like Ron Kalkbrenner, Stephen Ashworth,
Hmm.
Jemiah. Um, and then I think I went more conservative. I went 7. I just think
Wow.
like you said, they're saving grace's conference play because like they're no real statement wins in the non-con. And the biggest thing too is like all their losses like they've gotten like mainly blown out, which is not great. But Big East is open this year. Maybe if they can rattle off a couple wins to begin conference play, give them positive momentum, maybe things could turn their way. But yeah, they not looking good for